My name is Duncan and I am the Market Development Manager for Tuxera. And my role effectively is to support the marketing team, understand customers' workflows, and also look at where we can expand into the market and different verticals that we can go into with our product, Fusion SMB. I think it's a vital show. It's one of the biggest shows in the calendar, particularly in the media environment. And for us, it's really important to be there. We have a lot of customers using our product inside their storage solutions. And it's important for the wider audience to understand what Fusion SMB is. And it's an ideal platform to be able to do that. I think, well, we have a lot of challenges in media currently. File sharing is yet another one. Budget's always a concern as well. So how do you maximize that investment in systems that you need to have to share those files and keep shareholders happy, keep budgets in line? And I think being able to deliver files from wherever you are, remotely, in the cloud, on premise, at full speed, and keep those productions running at a sensible cost is a real challenge. Well, I've been here for a while, over 20 years in media. And I think one of the things that's really changed is obvious, and that is the way the things are produced. It used to be bums on seats everywhere you went. It was production, everyone was in the same place. If you're in a production house, in a post company, everyone's into a central office doing the edits, doing the audio. And now that's spread globally. With the advent of remote working driven by the pandemic, that has changed dramatically. And file formats as well. You know, there's peaks and troughs of having standard definition and then moving to HD and then having to have codecs like ProRes to bring that data rate back down again to compensate for the large files of HD. It continues with 4K and 8K and 16 and beyond. So this constant challenge of managing massive file data and performance and yet be remote and work in places where perhaps the internet connections aren't as good. That's the major challenge at the moment, and it's been tackled in a number of really interesting ways. I think with on-premise infrastructure, there's always going to be a need to be able to have full performance for final colorization, final edits, and post. Working remotely is very useful. But I think that on-premise side of it is important, particularly with VFX, with image sequences, DPX files, EXRs. That's a really, really heavy load. So that on-premise workflow is important. And a combination of feeling of safe and secure, that you do have your data and it is somewhere that you can control. It's fine having copies in the cloud, it's fine having them somewhere else, but I think that safety net is what people crave. And they like to be able to feel that they've got hold of their data and it's theirs. The inevitable growth in storage infrastructure, as you just mentioned, it's the continual requirement to go faster and need higher performance. With image sequences, with VFX, with high-end production, with 4K and 8K, there's that demand on the structure. And that not only goes from the server and the storage, using things like NVMEs, but through the network to the clients as well, and then the workstations themselves having the grunt to be able to do that. So the whole structure needs to be able to work. And I think that's where we come in with Fusion SMB. You know, a 100 gig link, which is almost the norm now, we can deliver over 11 gig a second to a Windows workstation on a single 100 gig port, and nearly 9 gig a second on a Mac workstation, which is kind of unheard of in the industry over standard SMB. No drivers, no client license, just normal network connections. So fitting in with this high performance structure is vital for nearly every solution that needs to be part of that. Well, let's look at virtual production. You know, virtual production is a really, really interesting topic. It's very heavy on the infrastructure side because the performance it requires, but also the fact that it doesn't require film crews to be traveling the world as much is really important. Having huge crews traveling across the world to do locations. Maybe for big features where you do need to have a particular location, that's understandable. But if you need a sunset that lasts for 7 hours, you can do it in virtual production and you don't need a whole crew to go there. You can shoot summer in midwinter in a soundstage. It's an incredible environment. So making sure that things are optimized and ecologically sound is a good thing. And optimizing your hardware, reducing the amount of hardware you need to do the same job. With Fusion, we do sit in quite well with that because we can relieve the bottlenecks normally used by open source software on these storage systems. So we can generate huge amounts of performance on a normal system by simply replacing the open source part of that solution with us. So we really do have a nod towards making things more sustainable. I think it's probably historical. SMB as a protocol is probably one of the most widely used protocols on the planet. It's in every Linux box, it's in every Mac box, every Windows box. It was invented by Microsoft. It's in Windows servers, obviously, and it's utilized a huge amount. However, if you are not inside that Microsoft structure, then really what you're looking at doing is producing a Linux server with some storage, and then you want SMB sharing. And the normal path is open source. The issue with open source is probably because it's been around for so long, it's really not engineered in a modern way to take advantage or to be able to benefit the modern workflows. Where we're different is that we are a modern architecture. We're completely multi-threaded and we're fully Microsoft licensed with the SMB patent, and we work very closely with them. So when you are stepping outside of that Microsoft environment with Fusion, you get those features that you would expect from that Microsoft server. So things like RDMA, SMB compression, security, multiple access. You need to be able to get those tools you would expect from the Microsoft environment, be able to produce that onto Linux server. And that's where we sit. And we are embedded in a number of very high-end media solutions to enhance what they offer with their clients, with either native clients or their own software clients. And we are there to be able to produce high-performance SMB that you can use without any license or any software. You just connect and go because it's part of the operating system. So we really feel that we are the world's most advanced SMB server for Linux, getting those Microsoft features on a Linux platform as a server. Partnerships are vital in the media industry. I've been in the industry now for 20 years, and over those years, you walk around trade shows and you see logos on different booths of different customers working together, different providers. And part of that partnership is to be able to produce the best workflow possible to support our industry. And at Tuxedo, we see that as no different. So we work with, for example, pixitmedia, Quantum and IBM, and we are in partnership with those guys, producing some really, really lovely workflows alongside the dedicated software that they produced. And that partnership gives a customer a really excellent experience from their storage solutions. So partnerships, vital to us. And we continue to enhance those, and we continue to welcome working with storage providers on-premise, clustered, cloud, containers, medical as well. A real reach into partnerships, yeah. This year, pop along and see us. We are talking about our partnerships with some great storage providers within the industry. We're also going to be demonstrating our performance that we can achieve. At NAB, we did 5.3 gig a second on a Mac on a single 100 gig. We're now up to 8.6 and nearly 9 gig a second. And on the Windows, on a single 100, we're up to 11.5. So you can come and talk to us about that. But obviously all the features that we have within the product. So whether you want to deploy your Linux server with SMB in the cloud, containers, on-premise with clusters or single storage, and all the security and all the features that we have, RDMA, SMB compression, come and talk to us and understand just how good our SMB server is for the media industry. I think to understand our commitment to SMB as a protocol with Fusion SMB, we've been doing it for 10 years now. It's highly engineered and multi-threaded software. It's built with Microsoft, really showing the attention to detail we pay to the protocol to deliver the best experience you can have with SMB outside of the Microsoft environment.